Everybody keeps telling you the Odyssey is tracking to a huge opening weekend. Here's the strange part. Nobody could agree on what huge actually means. Boxoffice Pro says one thing, Deadline says another. Financial analysts have their own projections. Every forecast points in the same direction. Big opening, but nobody seems to agree on exactly just how big. And yet, if you scroll YouTube right now, you'd think the movie has already made $100 million before Friday night's even over. That's the part that fascinates me. Not whether the Odyssey opens to 90 million or 100 million, or somehow blows past all of it. The real story is what happens when Hollywood's smartest forecasting models stop speaking with one voice, and everybody on YouTube starts speaking with certainty anyway. Because around here, we don't confuse predictions with receipts. Hey everyone, Chris here, the Critical Nerd, and welcome back. If you're one of the returning viewers, thank you for coming back. And if you're new to the channel and new here, welcome aboard and stick around. You might hear something or see something you like. Because around here, we keep expectations low and receipts high. And today, we're not doing another Christopher Nolan is the greatest filmmaker ever video. We're also not doing another Hollywood is saved video. Instead, I want to talk about something that's actually more interesting than the opening weekend itself. It's the forecasting. Because I think there's a lesson here that goes way beyond just one movie. Now, if you've been browsing YouTube this week, you've probably seen it. The Odyssey is tracking huge. Nolan's next billion-dollar movie. Massive opening incoming. Hollywood has another winner. Different creators, different thumbnails, different fonts, same basic headline. And look, the enthusiasm, that's not coming out of nowhere. The receipts on audience demand are real. The film has generated enormous interest. IMAX screenings have been selling exponentially well. Premium format demand has been incredibly strong. Reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Nobody's arguing this movie is limping into theaters. But here's where things get interesting. Almost everyone reporting on those forecasts is presenting them like they're facts. They're not. They're estimates, very educated estimates, but estimates nonetheless. Forecasting isn't a receipt. Forecasting is probably with better spreadsheets. And those spreadsheets aren't all saying the same thing. Let's take a look at what the professionals are saying. Boxoffice Pro currently projects an opening of roughly $90 to $105 million. Deadline. Yeah, the folks over at Deadline. Their reporting has generally placed it somewhere around 80 to 100 million. Other industry analysts land in very similar territory. And you got to notice, you notice something here? The conversation isn't really about whether the Odyssey opens big. Almost everyone agrees it probably will. The disagreement is where it lands. Now, 5 million here, 10 million here, 15 million here. That may not sound like much when you're talking about blockbuster movies, but opening weekends matter. A difference of, say, $20 million changes headlines. It changes investor narratives. It changes Monday morning articles about whether the film overperformed or underperformed. And that's before a single ticket is actually counted. Now, what's funny is YouTube doesn't like uncertainty. Algorithms love confidence. Could doesn't get clicks. Will gets clicks. So somewhere between the analyst report, the tweet, the article, and the YouTube thumbnail, probability quietly becomes certainty. It's like a game of telephone, except everybody's trying to win the algorithm instead of preserving the message. This isn't the first Christopher Nolan movie that's confused the forecasting industry. Remember Oppenheimer? Before release, most projections had that movie opening somewhere around $40 to $50 million. Then opening weekend happened. $82.4 million. That wasn't just a little high, that completely changed the conversation. Now, does that mean tracking is broken? No. Tracking works remarkably well most of the time. But Nolan has a habit of creating event movies that don't always behave like traditional box office models expect. That's an important distinction. I'm not saying analysts are bad at their jobs. I'm saying Christopher Nolan occasionally gives them a problem with no perfect historical comparison. That's a very different argument. Here's the part that I think gets lost in all these conversations. Let's say the Odyssey opens to $100 million. Fantastic. That's a great opening. Now what? Because a movie doesn't become profitable on Friday night. It becomes profitable over weeks, sometimes months. The reported production budget is around $250 million. That's before marketing. Once you include worldwide marketing, distribution, and the fact that theaters keep a significant portion of every ticket sold, the conversation changes. Opening weekend isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun. This is something Hollywood headlines love to gloss over. Big opening doesn't automatically equal profitable movie. A huge Friday doesn't guarantee a successful theatrical run. And we've seen movies collapse after enormous openings. We've also seen movies build incredible momentum through strong word of mouth. Legs matter. Audience satisfaction matters. Repeat business matters. International performance matters. That's where the receipts start replacing the predictions. So this weekend, I'm honestly less interested in who guesses closest. Somebody's spreadsheet is going to look brilliant. Somebody else's spreadsheet is going to need a long vacation. That's forecasting. What interests me more is what happens after Sunday. Does this movie behave like a genuine Nolan event? Does it hold exceptionally well? Does premium format demand continue? Does international box office carry the film the way many expect? Because those are the receipts that actually determine whether this becomes another Nolan success story, not a prediction made on a Thursday afternoon. So if you take one thing away from today's video, let it be this. Don't confuse confidence with certainty. Hollywood sounds incredibly confident about the Odyssey. YouTube sounds even more confident. But confidence isn't a receipt. The receipts arrive when audiences actually buy tickets. And that's why I think this conversation is more interesting than another "how much will it make" debate. Predictions create headlines. Receipts create history. We'll know by Monday who came closest. We'll know over the next several weeks whether the Odyssey actually won. And around here, that's the story worth following. So what do you think? Do you still trust modern box office tracking? Or has Christopher Nolan become one of those rare directors who consistently pushes beyond what traditional forecasting models can comfortably predict? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And as always, keep your expectations low and your receipts high. I'm Chris, the Critical Nerd. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.